Hello, everyone. Welcome back for another Friday Live from IdeaPros. Today we are doing Ask Fred, which is all the questions that you have submitted, that burning questions that keep you up at night, entrepreneurial mindset, all of those questions. We're going to try to cover as many as we can today. So let me know in the chat if you're watching us live or if you're catching the replay. And if you do have a question today, you can put it in the chat. We have had some that were submitted early, so we'll be doing those first, and then we'll come to the feed to see what we can answer for you over there. So Fred, I'm going to get you in. Hello, Fred.
Hello.
Hello. So Fred is the CEO of IdeaPros, and obviously you have a huge success record for businesses and just knowing what to do when. I just love picking your brain for ideas. So today we have a couple questions. I'm going to start. What are you doing, Fred? Is that Swizzy?
I have just been cleaning my entire desk with this
Oh,
antibacterial glove that's got the liner. And it's Swizzy. It's one of our products, one of our
Swizzy.
partners who sells
Oh.
this on Amazon, right?
Well, Miss Vanessa is right here with us from from North Carolina.
Oh yeah, I'm Swizzying up the house, and
Swizzy.
get this on Amazon. I think you can get it on Amazon. I
It's
heard that they sold out.
yes, she has more quantity coming in, and I'm sure she'll put her link in the chat, and I'll put that on the screen. But I'm in line first, guys, so I'm like getting it.
Hence most.
Vanessa, do put your link in the chat. I think it's getzwizzy.com, but it's a little tricky on the spelling. Yep, there we
It's
go.
really cool because there's a liner inside, right? So you don't get this stuff on you. And you know what I found that's really cool? You can put two gloves on and you can do your whole kitchen in like 30 seconds. 99.9% of germs, bacteria, viruses just kills them.
Vanessa has such a great story too, because the way that she came up with this, and we're definitely going to be featuring her very soon on our Friday Live, so you guys can get the whole backstory. But that's awesome! I can't wait to get mine.
Yeah,
And
a free plug there.
yeah, well, hey, that's what I love, showing off our partner products too. That's what we do day in and day out, is create apps and products. And so it's awesome when we see one that's we can actually show off. And I have so many, I need to create a whole shelf over here.
Well,
But we have some questions, guys, that we're doing Ask Fred today. So let us know in the chat if you have any questions. Are you ready to dive in, Fred?
I am, but first I'd like to say something.
Of
Okay, because
course.
we have a lot of partners that come and they ask questions, but we also have a lot of people that come in and ask questions that really don't know anything about Idea Pros, or maybe they do know about Idea Pros or me specifically and have good questions. And sometimes when we get partner questions, invariably there'll be one or two, not every week, but one or two. It's like, well, why does this take so long? Why is this so hard? How come I feel like I'm at a standstill? Um, and I want to address that not just for any partner that feels that way, but I want to address this for everybody who's even thinking about becoming an entrepreneur. Every successful technology or modern company that you see out there, they've all gone through what you are going through or what you're about to go through if you decide to become an entrepreneur. This is literally like watching sausage being made. It's something you don't want to go through. It's something you don't want to see. But at the end, if you do everything right, boy, it tastes good. And that's the way entrepreneurship is. So if you're in a project and you feel like you're at a standstill, then you're not being a CEO, okay? Because you should never be at a standstill. There's always things you can do. For example, in one of my companies, I had an engineering standstill when we were trying to figure out how to develop something and we just hit a roadblock. What did I do? I started focusing on other things, PR, marketing, putting together what our next advertising campaigns were going to be, looking at our operations and trying to project out for the next couple of years what we're going to have to build. There's always something to do. And if you wake up in the morning and you feel you're at a standstill, that means you're not taking charge. Okay. And this goes for our partners too, because every one of our partners should be the CEO of their own company. and we had. Do you have the caddy there anywhere?
I do. I can go grab it. I was just going to say, like, we featured Caddy last week, and he said it for himself that you helped him a lot on this. So I'm going to make you big, and you can talk about it, and I'll go get
Thanks.
it.
You go get it.
Okay.
So, and this is just an example for everybody. This is a project that a lot of the same complaints that I hear, well, this is taking 2 years, it's taking 3 years. I don't feel like I'm really getting very far. And he and I went like this, loggerheads a lot of times on what are we going to do? Are we going to license it? I can't afford to do it. No, you guys aren't doing enough for me. And finally, about 6 months ago, it clicked on him. What I've been saying to him all along is that you've got to be the CEO. And what does that mean? That means that this is your life, this is your blood, this is what you're going to do day and night, and you're going to find a way to make it work. And he said, as soon as that clicked, he put his head down. And as Tessa said, he was on last week. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
gonna have to watch it, but you can see it on our Facebook page. There's a caddy. 6 months later, it's and it's for sale. And it's a really cool product for the golfing community. This is going to be a great product for when you have golfing events, corporate golfing events, because that little thing in the front,
The
that
ball marker.
the ball marker, that comes off, and you can put your company logo on there and everything. So it's a lot of stuff in a little bit of space. It even has the
Velcro for your gloves.
yeah,
Or
Velcro
glove.
gloves, and it has your divot thing, whatever it's
Yep.
called.
It's
You
a
know,
switchblade. Okay,
but,
I always do this wrong, so let's try not to kill myself
yeah,
here.
all this stuff in this one little tiny container. So,
And it has the belt loop
and
so
he,
that you
right,
can put it on, just slide it over the top, and it keeps your pockets clean, and
yeah, and he,
and
yeah, he said the inspiration for this was that in a typical golf game, you reach into your pocket 144 times. And he was like, we can avoid all of that with this one little device that just sits on your belt, and we can speed up the game a fraction at a time, so for a golf course you can actually get more players in one day. So if golf courses start selling this directly or mandating it,
their brand.
yeah, awesome. So
And you also look so organized too, because you have everything right at your fingertips. And they don't fall out either. And I think that's the big thing. This is all very sturdy, but I love it. And you can use your own divot tool if it's a switchblade style with the metal on the back. So you can use
yeah.
if you
So
have one.
anyway, my point is, if you're the CEO, like he became 6 months ago, you're going to get it done. Okay. If you're an Idea Pros partner, don't count on us. We're there to support you. If you're not an Idea Pros partner, don't count on anybody. You are the person that's going to make it or break it. And when it's time for you to launch, your heavy lifting gets going. I mean, if you study some of the companies like Airbnb,
Hmm.
go look at their history and what it took for them to get to the point where they were actually making money and doing the things they needed to do. They actually went out, and I've told the story before, but they went out and sold giant cereal boxes during the Obama McCain presidential election, where it had Obama O's and something like McCain Flakes or something. I don't even remember what the name was, but they went online to sell those things in order to try to have enough money to make payroll. And so all these big companies that you want to be like, they all suffered. They all sat in their bed at night crying, wondering if they did the right thing, waking up with heart palpitations, and just doing it anyway. And that's what you got to do. So any of those type of questions, number one, don't be an entrepreneur unless, one, you're a glutton for punishment, two, you want to change the world, and three, you're going to be persistent and never give up. You have to have all those things. Otherwise, go back to the 9 to 5 job and just stick with that.
I think it's you're in a pursuit of freedom too. So I know Fred talks about yeah, you're going to run your head into the wall and all of that, but all of the benefits of being your own your own business owner is the time freedom. So Fred, some of the things that, give us some of those, because I want to also remind you guys and help to inspire you to keep that from that burnout and loss of motivation. Odin, as you said, how do you deal with the loss of motivation and burnout as well?
And it's hard. And trust me, for even for our partners, the ones who are upset that things take so long, like a year and a half ago, we were supposed to have 80 apps delivered to us,
Mhm.
done, 80. Not one of them was done. They were all done wrong, completely my fault because I relied on one vendor who totally let us down. His actions, I would say, are criminal, but we don't even have time to pursue that. So here I am with 80 partners and me all expecting to go live. And now we have to start all over again from the very beginning. And here we are, a more mature company. I've been doing this for decades and I'm facing those same type of things. You can't imagine the burnout of knowing I have 80 projects that I didn't think I was going to have. And I've paid the suppliers for everything that I needed to pay with my partner's contribution, with my own contribution, with our time, energy, resources. Now I have 80 left. What do I do? And well, I went out and took another $2 million mortgage on my house. So I'm up to here with mortgages in order to make it happen. So it doesn't stop, number one. So these are not encouraging words that,
I know. I was like, Fred, you're just
hold
not
on,
helping
hold on,
me
hold on.
here.
But I'm going to get to the encouraging part. The but I want everybody to know that this never ends, that you're always out there, you're looking for capital, you're running into things that you didn't expect. You have to fix things that you didn't think would ever go broken, and you have to deal with those consequences. But the beauty comes with, as Tessa said, the freedom of you doing what you think you really want to be doing with your life and in being in control of it. And even as a partner of ours, or even as somebody who's just sitting in a garage tinkering like the Hewlett Packard guys did when they first started selling their products out of their garage, um, tinker away, knowing that you're doing something that's leading you down a path to perfection, a path to a happy life, a path where you can get up in the morning and say, I'm my own boss. I'm doing what I want to be doing. I feel passionate about what I'm doing. It's what drives me. And it's that pursuit of happiness that we all go after as entrepreneurs. And entrepreneurs, those are the people that change the world.
I
Oh,
think
yeah.
that there's a couple other ones that I personally, because I have been an entrepreneur for a very long time myself, as well as working with, many entrepreneurs. And I think that, that ability to set your own time schedule it's awesome. And you get to pick if you're going to have, if you're going to work 24/7 or if you're going to take a couple days off during the week and work on the weekend. But it
Really?
all,
Didn't know
I don't, like I was gonna say, Fred and I know probably we work 24/7. But I do think another big thing is waking up in the morning and knowing that you're doing something that you're passionate about and you wake up excited to do it, and you get to define your own income and your value and your worth out there, because no one is telling you this is your salary for this month and that's all you're going to earn. You can scale your worth, your value, in my opinion. That's what I love. If I want to work hard and make it happen, I can work hard and make, additional money come in.
Yeah, the woman who started Spanx when she was wandering around 19 years old in New York trying to find people to invest. Not one of us would have invested in her. I don't know if she's a billionaire yet, but pretty darn close to it. And she just persisted, just never stopped. So it's painful. It's not recommended for the faint of heart, but you're going to get there. And when you do, you're going to be happy.
Perfect. Well, we have some other questions, so I'm going to go into these other ones. You did actually answer Ed's, which was, what's your best advice when you feel like you're at a standstill? And you had some great recommendations on that. So thank you, Ed, for your question. I know Julie had a question about finances, the financials, and what to kind of plan for as far as your first year. And in this case, it's an app that's going to start out free in the beginning. So how could she plan for that?
Yeah. So here's the problem with apps and revenue. Um, Most app companies that you see out there that have been really successful have done so with a series of financings. People invest in them. So, especially if you're an app CEO, you need to think about being a financial CEO. And one of my now friends, Oren Claff, wrote a great book on it. And I think, Tessa, you said there's a comment about that. We can talk
Yes.
about that in a minute. But the reality is, you need to start thinking like a financial CEO. Where am I going to get two things? Downloads and money. Because the best way to get downloads is free. Absolutely the best way to get them. And the best way to get money is to show all these downloads that you have. So if you want to start charging right away, you're going to slow down your adoption rate, and that's going to affect your ability to raise capital. And without that ability to raise capital, it's going to be a slow road to success. And I told this story a few days ago, I think, at our partner once a month
Hmm.
partner meeting, and there was this little app company that you could. Well, you had the app, but you couldn't take a picture in the app, but you could put a picture on the app, and your friends could come and click a little heart that they liked your picture. That's all you could do. And 2 years later, they had 13 employees. They had zero revenue. They had tons of people using their simple little app, and they got acquired for $1 billion by Facebook, and that app is called Instagram. So they had zero revenue. Okay, and so the point is, as an app CEO, you always got to be thinking about the money. What's my next round going to be? How do I get more downloads? How do I get more people? How do I increase my visibility? And sometimes it's guerrilla tactics. Sometimes it's finding different associations that you can work with that have an affinity towards your brand. You can start bringing in people dozens at a time and trying to get them to spread the word. But you got to be a real good marketer to bring people in. And again, you got to raise capital, and that is part of what you need to do. So, as far as saying how much money should you set aside to get started, as much as you can, but also start thinking almost immediately about doing different rounds of funding, doing different types of pitch decks to different types of people and organizations, and know how to talk like an insider. An insider is going to be a lot more concerned about the financials than they are going to be concerned about the fact that you're the coolest app in the world. They want to see, here's my story. These are the numbers of downloads that I'm getting, and if I invest this much in marketing dollars, this number can grow to this number. And when I get to this number, this organization is going to have an enormous value. And our exit strategy is either to be acquired or to have an IPO. And it's a process. And if you're going to friends and family instead, it's going to be all about the app and all about your solution, right? So investors want to hear how they're going to get a return on their money, and that you've thought through that very carefully. And the friends and family round, where you can get your first money, are really going to want to know about your app, the industry. You need to show your knowledge in that space to make them comfortable, and you'll be surprised how many people will throw you $5,000 at a time to get you your first 100,000 or so that you should have in the bank to really initially get going.
And we have a great question along those lines. So I definitely know we're going to get back to the comment that was said about the Pitch Anything book. But before we do that, Levi had a great.
Can you actually have them come on, or no? That's
I
hard.
don't know. I mean, Fred does this to me all the time. We'll see. I mean, I can make magic happen, but I don't know about that. But I will see if I can get Corky. If he's in the chat, then for sure we can definitely get him in.
I'll
But
find
this one is Levi. He has asked a question about, how do you know if you're selling off too much of your equity too fast? So,
the magic component is money, and money's going to be the driver. You can keep all your equity and get nowhere. And if you feel like you're giving away too much of your equity too fast, and by the way, if you're online and you want to add to your comment so I can get a little bit more detail from you, but generally, you, you got to do two things. Number one, you got to act like you don't need money. Number two, you got to get the money,
You
right?
can't be desperate.
You can't go and be desperate and you want to offer 20% of your company and they say 50 and you say, okay, you see that on Shark Tank all the
Oh,
time.
yes.
It goes from I'm going to give you 5% and then they get beaten up and all of a sudden they're giving away 50% of their company or they're walking away. The reality is to know whether you're doing something too fast is what is that money going to give you? If it's going to give you 3 months of operations, it's not worth very much. If your money is going to let you operate for a year or 18 months, the round that you're going to go get, then that is valuable. And I would all day long give up 25% of my company or so to be able to have 18 months of really solid run rate when I'm starting my organization. In fact, um, probably to do 18 months in a really small company, you're probably talking about $500,000 or so. And so if you're valuing your company at $2 million and you're right at the very beginning and haven't done anything, what really makes you that valuable? What makes you that valuable is your ability to get to the next level. And that's going to require two things. It's going to require your persistence and it's going to require capital. So very, very important to get that money to get to your next level. So you can never give away too much. And some of the biggest companies in the world, you'll see their CEOs may own 20% of the company, 10% of the company. So you can get to a point where you're not in control anymore. Steve Jobs got fired from Apple, right? He was one of the founders of Apple, right? He got fired from Apple by their board of directors. He didn't have enough shares to be able to stay on. But obviously, he was so talented that they brought him back after a few years when he was with smoke and mirrors threatening them. There's a Steve Jobs story on Netflix. I don't know what the name of it is. Probably Steve Jobs. But it's
We'll
an
have to check it out.
interesting story because it shows a lot of the things that he built didn't really work and scared Apple enough to bring them back. And the fact is, he wasn't a very good guy in the very beginning, and then really did a life change when he came back to Apple the second time. But in any event, is there a follow up or more?
No follow-up yet, but I will keep an eye out for it. But Odin brought up a good point, and that's one of the benefits of working with IdeaPros is that we do help our partners in that phase, that raising fund piece with advice. We had, in fact, they'll be on Friday Live too to talk about how to do better pitches and how to find the investors, all of those things that Fred builds these relationships for our partners. So that we can leverage those connections and have insider, access to these great resources. Plus, we have a competition, a pitch competition coming up soon. So that is a benefit.
And Robert Richmond is going to manage that. He is a friend and an amazing human being. He has a book too. We should pitch his book too. So we got
Culture Blueprint
by Oren Klaff and Robert wrote the Culture Blueprint, and the Culture Blueprint is now required reading at Harvard Business School. And so he advises companies like Google and things like that. So he's going to be advising the people who entered our pitch deck competition. In fact, maybe we'll open one up to the general public in the future. But right now, that's just for our partners. But let me say one other thing to dissuade people from being entrepreneurs.
Fred, you're not making my job very easy here.
I want people to have reality checks because you need to understand that you have to be that 1 in a million person. that I did some study because we're going out now with IdeaPros. We're raising more capital to accelerate our growth, to provide more services for our partners, to actually even be able to have a fund where we can contribute to partners after they launch. And one of the things that I saw in my data was that 94% of these multimillionaires and billionaires that you see in the tech world all came from these really elite schools, and that's the way they get in with the best venture capital firms. And even so, with all this money pouring at them, there's an 85% failure rate with the creme de la creme. So the ones that win are not the ones that get all the money. The ones that win are the ones that have the most drive, and they never give up, and they keep trying. They work and find solutions. So just be prepared. You're going to go into a heavyweight fight, and you need to be prepared, and you need to understand once in a while you're going to get slugged in the face or the chest or the stomach, and you got to take it and keep going, and don't look for excuses. Don't look for complaints. Don't look for the it's taking too long for the bell to ring. You got to keep going forward. And if you do, like we said earlier, it's a magical thing. But if you don't have the stomach for it, then again, stick to your job. This is not easy, and we don't want anybody to think it is easy, but it's very, very rewarding. You can change your world. You can even change the world, depending on how far you go.
And I'm on mute. I know, I know. Hello. We do have one question I wanted to see, well, two that I'm going to squeeze in real quick here. And for somebody who they submitted a question about, there's all these steps to getting a product to market. What do you actually do first? That is a great question.
Well, what I would recommend to everybody is actually it's a product that we offer, and you should put it up. The two most important things that you need to do are educate yourself and educate yourself about the thing that you want to create, right? And so IdeaPros has a package
Oh,
that
yes.
the one is my entrepreneurship courses, which is a couple $100. It's 15 different videos. And the other one is a package that for, I think it's around $1,000, you can take that idea that you have and submit it. And we have a team that will completely tear it apart, look at the size of the market, the growth of the market, the holes in the marketplace, where your real opportunity is, the weaknesses of your competitors and how to exploit them, who your ideal target audience is, and also give you a pitch deck form that you can take all this data and fill out. You end up with about a 40-page report, and you know a lot about what you want to do. And so then you're going to know what to do next because you're really well prepared with this document that it's going to be your Bible starting out and getting you through the next steps that you have to go through. The courses that I teach, they're raw, really not edited, as you can tell from the wrinkles in my face in the videos, and they're not scripted at all. It just comes from the heart. It talks about everything you need to know to be a really kick-ass entrepreneur, including the hard part of doing things with purpose. And so there's additional layer on top of all the steps of being an entrepreneur. And even if you are a partner of IdeaPros, you should, and you haven't taken those courses, you probably should consider it. And it's, I think, a very valuable resource. And I've had more than one partner who has to deal with me all the time, say that going through those courses has really changed their way of thinking, not only about business, but about their own lives as well. So,
And I put this link in the chat for you guys. And we have just what you were saying, Fred, as far as like how it's changed and affected some of our partners. We have testimonials in here too, but I've had the chance to go through this course. I know we had Stephen who said, it's life-changing for the course, but it's an online course that's here. You could also combine the business starter pack that Fred was just talking about together with the course and get everything. But you can go to the link in the chat. And I think that we've evolved a lot as IdeaPros, and as being able to supply, potential entrepreneurs with the best information in the most effective way. And this does give you everything in one pack of information. So I highly recommend you check it out and go see what's all included in there, because there's a lot.
Yeah, and that's a good place to start, but it's a methodical process that you need to go through. And the very first part of it is you need to know how to act as a CEO, what to expect, what all the different elements of running a company are, and how to deal with those. And you really, really need to understand your product. The number one reason that new companies fail in America, small companies, entrepreneurial companies, the number one reason is that you've created something that nobody wants. How pathetic is that? That's the number one reason. That means we don't do our research. We ask mom about our idea. We ask our drinking buddies at the bar how good they think it is. We do informal surveys with people who you're talking to and you have some relationship with. Maybe they don't want to hurt your feelings. Whatever the answer is, that's not the way to determine whether or not your idea is a really good one. The right way to do it is with comprehensive research, analysis, and a go-to-market plan.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Fred. I have one last question, Odin, before you leave, because I see you going. Odin asked, how do you recharge? And I'm trying to find his question right now because I just had it on this screen. How do you recharge and kind of restore yourself?
Yeah, and I'm going through that right now. I need to be doing that right now.
And get your mind into the zone.
And it's a challenge for everybody. I've been going through that myself for the last few months because, as I said, we're doing fundraising. We're still fixing the damage of those 80 apps that all of a sudden we had to do over again. A lot of additional expenses. We've stopped taking partners for a period of time last year just so we can focus on getting everybody up to speed and all those things. You end up going to bed some nights completely exhausted, only to wake up 3.5, 4 hours later. You need to take a weekend. When you're that way and you feel overwhelmed and overworked and the hose of information coming at you never ends, you got to find some way to take a break. And maybe it's one weekend a month, even sitting in your backyard and not thinking about business, turning your phone off. That's one thing. The other thing that I do every single morning is I spend the first part of my morning working on me, and then I work on work. So I get up earlier. I get up around 5, and I'll work out for an hour, hour and a half with a trainer for about an hour, 5 days a week for an hour and a half. And then I'll do a little bit of meditation. I'll do some positive affirmations. You got this. I'll do things that I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for my kids. I'm grateful for my partners who are hanging in there with me. Different things every single day. And then I'll read something, anything, a page, a paragraph, a book, a half a book, chapter, whatever. And to do all those things, kind of get my mind in order so that you can go slay dragons for the whole rest of the day. So take care of yourself in the beginning of the day, reflect at the end of the day, and find a way to recharge at least one weekend every month.
Aw, thank you, Fred. Well, I'm going to let you go and have a weekend to recharge. Thank you.
This is not my recharge.
Oh, shoot. Well, we'll see you again soon. Thank you all so much for submitting your questions. And I'm just going to take a second to talk to y'all because I know I saw Sage, scheduler, over there. And Bill, hey, Bill. So we haven't talked to you in forever. And Kyle said, Kyle's had lots of great comments, but she says that it was great advice today. And I don't know if you guys have looked in our post lately, but there are two really important links in there that you can get reminders when we go live so we can answer questions that you have and really participate. We appreciate everyone who shows up here live or watches the replay. You can also ask questions at any time. So that comes directly into us and we can answer questions for you along the way for any entrepreneurial subject. Obviously, Fred goes into mindset as well as, what to be doing in your business. And we want this show to be about you guys and what you need in your businesses. It's not all about us, although we did talk about some of the products that we've launched. That's just me bragging on our partners. More than anything, it's not not to tell you you have to go buy anything. Just, I love seeing our products come to life. This is a lot of time and energy that goes into these. So when I get Vanessa's Zwizzy, I'm going to be showing it off as well. I think it's just so cool to be able to support you all. So if you do have a question, feel free to submit it. And we do have a contest going on till the end of the month. So if you are going back to our old posts and commenting contest on those old ones, anything that has one of our lives that has the contest on it from January 15th until the end of February gets you entered into the contest. And if you share out our shows, you could get a shout out in the next show. So if, say, Sean Reed, who has an awesome audience, wants to share out our show onto one of his channels, he can actually share that out and just tag me, and that's Tessa Ashford, and you'll see me in here, or tag IdeaPros, and we will put your profile on the screen. I've seen quite a few people who are recognizing those shares and just taking a minute to show the profiles off. So if that's something that you want to do, share out this show or any of the other shows if there's one that resonates with you, and then we'll see, because they've been shared. I know, Sage, you're awesome. 84,000 followers. I mean, I think that's amazing, and I can't wait for this app to come out anyway. But, oh, thank you. The most powerful way to market a company is by results. Absolutely. So somebody asked about our products and apps that have launched. There's this great page on our website. It's called Launch Party. So on the IdeaPros website, you can see any of the websites that are kind of, in different stages of launch. So when we launch a website for a partner, maybe they're in the beginning stages, they don't have their product ready, they're in a list building phase. So we do put them on there so that they can start building their list. You can do quite a bit. Like Sage, without even having your product or app done, you can build up your list, followers, and really get people excited. So that website has launched products, it has launched apps, it has products that you can actually go buy right now, like Cary and Pocket Rocket, and oh gosh, I have so many, Bingo. Those are all products I physically have here. CrashPad even. You can go buy products, but you can also see what people are coming up with next and get on their mailing list. And on the app side, you can be a beta tester for apps, which is awesome, because we just launched an awesome app that is elopeplanner.com just recently in that list building phase, but she's awesome. She's super motivated. So if you want to go check out one that's not quite up there yet, we just talked about on Tuesday, that one's going to be awesome because it is a very unique way to plan your wedding. So guys, thank you so much for being here every single week with us. And I hope you all have a blessed week and a holiday on Monday if you guys are off. We'll see you all next week at noon Pacific time on Fridays. And so there was a new person. I just wanted to take a minute to go say thank you. Oh my gosh, I lost you. Jake C. Great to have you here. And I'm going to put that launch party page in the chat right now. You guys go check out some of these products and apps and support, give some love, or just even likes and shares. It's surprising how much that makes a difference to an entrepreneur who's trying really hard to get their business going. That's awesome. And then I have a quick shout out for Odin. Thank you so much for being on here every week. I saw so many of your comments. I just wasn't fast enough to be able to put them up there, but I appreciate you and your marketing know-how and advice, of course. Thank you. Thanks, Hector. It was good to see you. Oh, hey, thanks. Good. Have a great weekend. Bye.